So enthusiastic.
We're live! Yay! I wish it would give the countdown. It used to give the countdown, like the 5, 4, 3, 2.
2, 1.
But we are live. Welcome, everybody, to OCR Talkback. I am Sharik Darksword Ansari. Tonight we have Steve-O, Level 99, Bortz, and Will Rock. I'm not going to say his full name. I'm just going to call him Will Rock because it's easier to say.
My name not hard to say?
No, it's not that hard to say, but it's, I don't know, it's just easier just to say Will Rock.
Okay.
So, yeah, welcome to OCR Talkback, OC ReMixers weekly web show. We say weekly, but it's more like intermittent web show because we're all busy with our real lives and stuff. But thank you for tuning in. Hopefully we get some more viewers as the night progresses. The way OCR Talkback works is just tweet your questions on Twitter with the hashtag OCR Talkback, and we will, answer your questions and talk about video game music and video game stuff. So if you're out there and you're watching, let us know. Wow, the viewer count actually dropped to 0. Nobody is watching right now. That's fantastic. But we're going to soldier on because this is being recorded for posterity anyway. So we'll see what happens. So I guess we could start off the way we always start off, or the way we always like to start off. What VGM are you guys listening to this week?
Will, go first. I gotta pull this out.
A lot of stuff, nothing specific, just a lot of video game stuff. Probably Shovel Knight the most because of your compo thingy.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of video game stuff this week.
Nothing specific?
Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight.
So yeah.
What do you think of Shovel Knight? You haven't played the game, but what do you think of the soundtrack?
I really like it. I think it's. I mean, I think I talked about it last week. Said how good it was. So I mean, it's good stuff. Vert did a good job on it. What should I call him, Jake? I don't know if he goes by Jake or Vert these days. I don't know.
I don't know either, but
yeah, I'm gonna call him Vert. It's easier. But yeah, it's a good soundtrack.
All right, my turn.
Yeah, go, Steve-O.
I've actually been getting into the Game Gear soundtracks.
Oh wow.
Yep, 2 that I've never heard of and just found randomly, and they are phenomenal. One's called Honu no Tokyuji Dodge Dantei, and it sounds like more upbeat Mega Man Capcom stuff. It's really well done. Yep. And the
Game Gear.
Yeah, on the Game Gear.
Hmm.
The other is Hyper Pro Yaku 92. Yes, a lot of random Japanese games.
Yeah.
But both games are really awesome, and of course I've been listening to a lot of the Diablo 3 soundtrack since the Diablo 3 Season 1 started.
Really? You've been listening to the music?
And that soundtrack's pretty boring.
I shut the music in Diablo 3 off like a month ago. And I play the game a lot, but I just put on bossa nova music in the background.
Can I quickly say something about the Game Gear of its whole there is something about the sound chip that rubs me the wrong way. I don't know what it is because it sounds slightly different to NES. Obviously, there's some different duty cycle stuff going on, but I just don't like the tones that it uses, and I'm curious if I'm the only one who thinks this. Like compared to the NES, like if you ask me Game Gear versus NES, I'll go with NES every time. Like,
yeah.
Is that just me or?
No, it's not just you. The Game Gear sound chip is essentially the exact same sound chip they had in the Sega Master System, and that had
well, like a Game Gear is basically a Master System.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's what I assume when I
It's like it's a Z80, and the amount of variety that, in terms of tones that you could choose, was much more limited than the 2A03. So that's probably why.
Okay.
But I mean, there's some good stuff out there. A lot of the Sonic soundtracks were really good. There's a couple of ports that I think Matt Furness worked on that also sound really good. But
yeah.
One thing that I will.
Hey, Jose!
Hello, James. How's it going?
Jose, what are you listening to this week?
Jesus. Just trying to relax. I just got home from work.
Oh, really?
Just got nothing's off yet. It's just ridiculous.
Great.
Also,
I've been delayed with a few things.
Before we go off this topic, I do have a guest here with me. If you guys want to grill him some questions, I have the OCU drummer Thomas Colgrove sitting in a room with me.
I like how you said you have a guest with you, but you're at his house.
Yep. Exactly. I'm just that kind of guy.
They're each other's guests.
Yeah.
Anyways, as soon as he's done eating his chicken, I will send him over here.
Actually, I'll mention one soundtrack because I was reminded by the hidden sound test on Facebook. Devilish, another one of Sakimoto's masterpieces, as I believe. More amazing stuff on Genesis. But I came across this one song. I forget which one it is, and there was a choir sound coming out of it. I was like, "Are you shitting me?" I don't know how he did it. Well, actually, I did. I checked it. I muted the channel, so there's some awesome programming right there. Amazing.
And what about you, Shard?
I've been listening to it. Well, I mean, we haven't done it. I haven't really done a proper talkback in a long time where I got to actually talk about like my answer to this question. So I've been listening to a ton of stuff in the past couple of weeks, in the past month or so. I actually dug out some old the old Suikoden Celtic collections, and I was listening to those a couple months ago, or no, a couple weeks ago, and I've been listening to a lot of the.
This is great, by the way.
The Hideki Sakamoto. I think it's Hideki Sakamoto. He does.
Hitoshi Sakamoto.
No, there's Sakimoto.
Right.
And there's Sakamoto.
Oh, Sakamoto. Right.
Hideki Sakamoto did the soundtrack for Attack of the Friday Monsters, which is a really great level 5 game for 3DS. And he also did the soundtrack to this game called Time Travelers, which is another level 5 game that I don't think is ever going to come out in the US. It's basically like an interactive movie made by Level 5. It's like a really long RPG, but it's more or less a quick time kind of quick time event game. And that soundtrack is awesome. What else? The Grinsia soundtrack by Pong Ball is really good. I don't know if you guys have heard that.
I didn't know she had another one.
I don't know if it's another one, but it's the one that.
I mean another soundtrack since Bloom Defender.
Oh, okay, yeah. Grinsia is actually the soundtrack that that OCR gave away to the Patreon backers the first month off of OCR Records or OC Records, and I'm a backer for OCR on Patreon, so I had downloaded that when it was when we got it, and it was really good, man. It's like classic Super Nintendo style stuff. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, I got some catching up to do.
Yeah. Speaking of classic Super Nintendo style music, also the soundtrack to Final Fantasy Legends. Not Final Fantasy Legend, the old Game Boy adaptation, which I think was actually a Saga game, but Final Fantasy Legends, which I think was localized in the U.S. as Dimensions. It was like an iOS and Android game, but it originally came out in Japan on like the on a different cell phone system, and I think we lost Steve-O, but we'll get him back. That's a really good soundtrack. I think that's done by Mizuta, and Naoshi Mizuta, and I think that was really good. Let's see. Oh, Steve-O's back. What else have I been listening to? Wow, Sixto's like classic Super Nintendo. What? Will Rock, look here.
What?
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
I just
no,
got
that's
that.
Sixto's
I
in the
don't know
IRC
what's going on.
Like he's like trying to like tell us to do stuff.
I was gonna say I did listen to some Super Nintendo soundtracks today while doing a massive code review. I'd never listened to them before, but the Albert Odyssey games are fantastic.
Albert Odyssey?
Yeah, Albert Odyssey.
It's
really, really good RPG stuff. It ranks up there with like Secret of Evermore and Tales of Fantasia and
wow,
Fantasy.
okay, cool.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
I was checking out Terranigma couple of weeks ago again. Remember that? Remember that soundtrack? That game?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's no secret of the stars.
That ending credits theme is so good.
Oh, also, Shari, or anybody in the call, have you guys ever listened to the Tokyo Philharmonic video game music series?
Not yet.
You mean the really old one, orchestral?
Yeah,
game
the one from like the 90s.
Yeah. I listen to those all the time.
Yeah, I didn't know that Yoko Kanno did Uncharted Waters.
Oh yeah. She totally did Uncharted Waters.
And
I discovered.
And there's that song from Uncharted Waters, the ending credits theme or the ending theme from Uncharted Waters 2.
Oh yeah,
which
Close
is
to Home.
Yeah, but it's basically it's basically the search is over by Survivor. If you listen to it,
can I very quickly say rest in peace to Jimmy Davison?
What's that?
I want to just quickly say rest in peace to Jimmy Davison
from
Survivor because he died the other day, and I am quite upset about that.
Yeah.
I am a Survivor fan, and I also
me too.
liked Baywatch back in the day, like everybody did.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Baywatch, man, that was a great show.
You guys had Baywatch in the UK?
Oh yeah, we did.
You didn't have like Channel Watch?
Yeah, it had brilliant visuals, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. They didn't call it something else though. They didn't call it like Channel Watch, like the English channel.
No, they called it Baywatch.
Oh, okay.
Baywatch.
That was early CGI.
CGI? What?
No idea. I was going to mention I just discovered some kind of stuff, but I forget which one. Well, let me look it up. I think it was. Yeah, it was one of Koei's old military films, either Nobunaga's Ambition or Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Yeah.
Koei? You mean Koei?
Koei?
I think it's Koei.
Who's pronouncing it Koei?
I've also been listening to a ton of Dragon Quest stuff, like Dragon Quest 7, the 3DS soundtrack. There's a solo guitar collections Dragon Quest that I was checking out, and also Dragon Quest 10 that I've been listening to lately. And of course, I've been listening to Shovel Knight all the time.
Shovel Knight.
Yeah, and I started playing. I started playing Phoenix Wright versus Professor Layton, or Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, and that has a pretty good soundtrack, so that's pretty cool.
Someone should do a Phoenix Wright and Shovel Knight remix and call it Phoenix Knight or
Phoenix Knight,
Wright or
Shovel Wright. Shovel Wright, Ace Digger, Ace Minor. I don't know. What happened to Steve-O? We keep losing him.
He went over to facepalm.
He went over to eat the chicken.
Oh,
I moved away from the mic to facepalm.
Yeah.
when there's a choice of OCR Talkback and chicken wins every time.
Chicken wins every time. So so if you guys are out there and you're watching and you have questions for us, feel free to ask some questions.
Can I?
I think Will, you actually had a pretty cool day today, right?
Yeah, I did, and I've just looked at Twitter in regards to it because I've been at Alcon, which is a UK convention. I've been sort of repping myself and OCR. Yeah. So I sort of did a solo set, but I was also able to pimp OCR because they put it in the flipping description. They just put OC Remix will rock. So I sort of got OCR's promotional power backing a solo gig. Not bad. And they put me after Mega Ran.
Oh, wow.
What the fuck is that about?
Holy moly.
And there was this other guy there called Gig UK, who's apparently some hotshot anime reviewer.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. He was before me as well. Turns out he's got like 2,500 subscribers and no, not 2,500. 250,000. Yeah. Slightly different. But yeah, like these were big people, and then there's me.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I, you know?
It didn't sound like it because you said he also ran, but it sounded like you said he wasn't also ran.
Mega ran. But yeah, there's a conversation on Twitter about it, and it said, and this guy put, I'm sat in the OC Remix concert. I fucking love this convention.
Yes.
Remix respond, you rock. Thank you for seeing us at Alcon.
Yeah.
And he responds with, oh, believe me, you are more than welcome. Was a shocking lack of Final Fantasy there. And I'm just thinking, You obviously don't know me at all if you think you were going to hear some Final Fantasy music. Like,
what did you play out there? What did you do?
I've got a set list here. I mean, I can't even remember. Like, I put it together like 2 days ago.
You flew me out there to do a special version of Bash the Bastards.
Super Mario Bros. 2 Overworld theme, Green Hill Zone. There was an original track that I made, Shoot 'em Down from Welcome to the Real World. Die Docs, the Pokemon Advance theme that you guys rejected from OCR being an anime track.
Yep.
Streets of Rage remix, the King of Fighters thing.
Yeah. Oh, from the Apex.
The Apex album. Yeah, that's a really fun one to play live. I didn't think it would be. Yeah, that's really fun. I'm going to be playing that next time as well because
if you come to Magfest in January, are you coming to Magfest in January?
I don't know. Like,
okay. If you come out, maybe you should do that one because I freaking love that song. It's so good.
Everyone really liked that one. I did Mega Man and Legends of. I did a lot, so I was up there for an hour.
But no Final Fantasy, huh?
No Final Fantasy.
Shocking.
What do you take me for? A square? I mean.
Oh boy.
I hate you.
Oh boy. Flexstyle was here, but he's got nothing. He walked away from the computer.
Oh man, Sicto sucks.
Also, Shark.
I linked him the. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
I'm just saying. I very quick. I linked him the Hangout, and he's like, "You won't get me twice." It's like, yeah. So go on.
Yeah.
So go on, carry on. I'm done.
No, I'm. You need more. Do more. I'm not going to talk.
Do more? What do I say?
Oh,
Flexstyle.
What do I do?
Flexstyle back.
Flexstyle. Yeah. Can you hear us? I think he's got
or
something.
What is that ID for, Jose?
It's my work ID. I am a clerical associate at Jacobi Medical.
I would assume that the ID would be for Jose since it's got his name on it, but I'm not an expert, so.
Yeah.
So wait, obviously, Will Rock, you didn't own a Game Gear growing up, did you?
I owned a Master System.
Oh.
I had a Game Gear.
You had a Game Gear? High five for Game Gear. Hell yes.
Yeah. Holla.
I always wanted that friggin' TV receiver adapter.
Oh yeah, so you could watch TV on your Game Gear?
For all 45 minutes.
Yeah. For like the 10 minutes that the batteries lasted.
That's still better than,
Six AA batteries, and they died in like an hour. It was amazing.
Better than Nomad.
There is actually a funny story about the Master System because when I was younger, we used to get burgled a lot. And we think it was always the same guy, and every time they'd come, they'd always take all the consoles that we owned, which really pissed me off. Like it didn't matter what it was. Like if it was a Game Boy or something, like they'd fucking take it.
Yeah.
And I'd be left with no games. And this one time, they took the PlayStation, they took the Game Boy, but they left the fucking Game Gear because they obviously the Master System because they obviously didn't think it was worth taking.
Nobody wanted, not even the thieves wanted it.
No, not even the thieves want the Master System.
Hurts my
your house and they steal your PlayStation 4, your Xbox One, but they leave you your R-Zone.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, all the Sega haters are crooks.
They won't take the Virtual Boy.
Sega haters are crooks. You see that, man?
Yeah.
Hey.
What's up, Blackstock?
What's up?
How you doing?
Doing fine.
Cool.
Tell Sicto's coming here.
What are you listening to this week?
Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. I was listening to Brink of Time the other day.
Oh, the Acid Jazz album.
Yeah. It's the
nice.
beginning of a new and excitingly different story. It's such a good.
Well, not really my style, but
it's so good.
Okay.
Hey.
Everything Chrono Trigger is awesome.
Hey, Flex, is your mic working? Can you hear us now?
Looks like not.
Yes. Just say something.
Hey guys.
We know hear you. He's asking, hear me?
Can you
Yes.
hear words coming out of my mouth?
Yeah, what's up, Tom?
Hey, how you guys been?
Good, good. What happened to Steve-O? Is he eating chicken? Is he eating more chicken?
Nah, he's multitasking right now.
Okay.
Apparently not.
For the people who are watching and they don't know who Tom is the drummer for OCU. He's like super crazy good at drumming, so pretty nice. What have you been up to, Tom? Listening to any VGM or anything?
Dude, all I've been doing right now is playing Ocarina of Time.
Yes!
Yeah.
I have a question, very quickly. Why is your voice so clear when Steve-O's was really, really far away and really not very good?
The frequencies, man.
I'm gonna be honest, I have a much more pronounced voice than Steve does.
You have a super sexy voice. I get it.
Super sexy, cuts through the mix quicker.
Well, thank you.
Better, actually.
Sorry, Steve-O, you're not sexy enough.
Do we have Flex Style again? Flex, can you hear us? He's
Well, I
not
guess you
responding.
can hear us, but we can't hear. Yeah.
Alright, I don't know.
Testing, I guess.
We got a lot of people here tonight, man. Jarrell showed up too. Jarrell, you there?
The question is, do we still have 0 listeners? Is there
No, we have
anybody-
8. We have 8 viewers right now.
We have 8
You guys
viewers.
hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay!
Webcam microphone wasn't working, so I broke out the old.
Yeah, you need a proper mic. Proper. Good.
My
Probably
webcam mic was
mic.
good.
Yeah.
I'm actually using a PlayStation 2 iToy as the webcam,
Oh.
and it has a built-in microphone which works.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Suddenly, I'm the only person without a working camera. That's weird. It's like this weird problem where I can't get my webcam to show my face if I'm in Firefox, but Google Hangout won't work at all if I'm in Chrome all of a sudden. That's like counterintuitive. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Oh well, you can see my pretty mouse, I guess.
Yeah.
That's not mine. That was Nabil's.
Yeah.
I
Man,
guess
nobody
You're
asking
not on
questions.
at all.
Nobody asking questions on Twitter. Nobody asking questions.
Nobody.
We
I
can-
can tell you what I've been listening to lately because it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Go.
I don't think any questions on Facebook. No questions on YouTube.
And the YouTube is just.
Yeah, we could just talk about whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
I
There
can
was a
tell you what I've
question.
been listening to lately because it's cool.
How
What do
come
you
we don't
listening
have a
to?
game called whatever the hell we want? A big MMORPG, however the hell you put it.
I don't know. Flex, what are you listening to this week?
Okay, so recently somebody posted, I think on the OCR forums, the differences between the NES and the Famicom sound chips
Oh yeah,
and that kind of thing. So I promptly went to YouTube and listened to a ton of soundtracks that used the various actual Famicom stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes, second one. Sector came in here. Sorry,
Madara.
Yeah.
Gimmick, Sorcerian.
What was that one that was posted in there? Lagrange something that was like uses the uses like the VRC7 and it sounds like practically a Genesis. Except
I think I've heard that one. Yeah, it sounds like a Genesis.
insane.
Soundtrack.
All the
FM,
old
yeah.
Castlevania
fuck's
stuff.
sake! Secto Sounds, you are a bitch. I'm sorry. I have to say that. You are
A little aside, Sixto joined for like half a second and then he left. That's why
Well, but now he can say he was on twice.
He's a troll. There is no.
He actually got on that one time. I don't know what your problem is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't even know what you were talking about. I'm just incensed with the fact that Secto Sounds came in and he went alone again. There's not a connection issue.
You don't be calling him sick though. Said
There's no reason for. I'm talking too loud. It's like 2:30. People will be able to hear me upstairs. I'll be going, what's this noise?
I know what
you're
room you're
waking
sitting
up
in
my
right now.
family. This is what you're doing to me.
Yeah.
You're waking up my family.
So,
Really bad.
let's go down the line. What games have you guys been playing lately? Will.
I don't know.
No
Oh,
games?
Hearthstone. That's a good one. Hearthstone.
Hearthstone, okay. A lot of Hearthstone?
Hearthstone. As in
Okay.
World of Warcraft. Card game. Hearthstone.
Yeah, that's a good one. Good music, too.
Yeah. Yeah, which actually, my sister introduced me to that one.
Yeah.
Of all people in the world, my sister. Like,
Your sister doesn't play a lot of video games?
Well, she does, but like I assume that Hearthstone would be like ultra nerdy, some sort of thing that she wouldn't normally play.
It's very accessible. It's a very accessible game. They streamlined it a lot from the World of Warcraft TCG, like the actual physical card game.
Yeah, I've heard that it's very similar, and I've heard that a lot of people don't know why Hearthstone exists because of the card game.
They discontinued the card game, and they're
really
Hearthstone. Yeah.
Shit.
Which sucks because the card game was really fun and they were doing really cool stuff.
Shit just got real. People who invested into the actual card game will be pissed, won't they? Like.
Oh yeah. It was not a good time.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, how long's Hearthstone been going as well? Isn't it like still
couple months
phase technically?
Couple months now, I think.
Yeah, like
it's not in beta anymore. It's actually officially launched.
Okay, I wasn't sure. But my sister was actually talking about this problem she had with Hearthstone today. She told my mum, which was funny. But she was talking about buying some cards, and apparently she decided she was going to treat herself. So she went for the 7-pack, which is about £6. And she bought it, and it didn't. And it said hasn't gone through. So she pressed it again, hadn't gone through. Press it again, hadn't gone through.
Oh no!
And she did it about 4 times, and then she tried it with PayPal another 4 times. Didn't go through any of those times. And then suddenly she looks. You know where this is going.
Yeah.
It's charged her for all of them. It's charged her like £60, and
no!
She hasn't got anything for it.
Oh
so
no!
she actually contacted the people, and she said, I've done all this shit. I'm in a problem now. I'm £60 in debt.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And they basically said that they didn't know how she was going to be reimbursed. That maybe they'd actually reimburse her with cards and not actually give her a refund.
Her money
and it's
back.
like she didn't want that amount anyway.
Yeah.
Like she only wanted to spend like £5, and they're like, "Oh, we'll just give you the money in cards." How many packs is that? About £60 of Hearthstone cards. That's like.
That's too many packs. Too many.
Yeah, that's too many.
Yeah, nobody gets back money anymore. It's always credit.
Actually, I do have. Oh my god, lag.
Go ahead, Steve-O.
Oh, sorry. We're getting some lag hiccups here. Who here plays MMOs?
Not me.
Nobody. Oh, you do.
Well, I'm in a breaking point right now. I'm waiting for the World of Warcraft.
I want to know what's the worst MMO you've attempted to play?
Oh, the worst MMO?
Yes.
I don't know. Probably one of those free-to-play ones. But it's been a while since I've played any crappy ones.
Does Dota 2 count as an MMO?
No, that's not an MMO.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I don't even know. Like, I thought that was like a World of Warcraft type thing. That shows how much I know about video games. What am I doing in here? I should leave right now. I do not deserve these chats.
So, Steve-O, what have you been playing lately?
What have I been playing lately? I've been playing Diablo 3. I've also been going through Phantasy Star Zero on the DS, which is a really awesome entry in the series. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's really fun.
Nice.
Yeah, it's you can do ad hoc multiplayer. They did have servers until like the Nintendo services shut down for the DS, but you can still like get 4 or 5 people together and do the same kind of Phantasy Star MMO style grinding and.
Oh, is that like Phantasy Star Online?
Yeah, it is, except for the DS.
Okay. I didn't know they made one for the DS. I know they made one for PSP.
Oh yeah, no, the one for the DS it's great. Andrew Dia and I used to play it all the time.
Oh wow.
Andrew came up with some pretty elaborate quick chat drawings of feminine, yeah.
Boobs.
Feminine, yeah.
Boobs.
What else have I been playing? I'm still finishing Mario & Luigi Dream Team.
Okay.
Which is great. And next on my list is Fire Emblem Awakening.
Nice.
So, and Tom, all you've been doing is playing Zelda, right?
Only Zelda. Exclusively.
Only Zelda.
I'm trying to get him into other stuff.
Awesome.
I mean,
Only Zelda sounds like a slogan, you know?
Only Zelda all the time.
Like
It's
no,
more of
like
a way of
remember,
life.
like always Coca-Cola.
Yeah, it's
It's
definitely
like,
a way of
Zelda,
life.
like written in like cursive script or something.
Zelda.
Oh my goodness. No, I mean, I lent him Super Scribblenauts. He said he didn't like it, and I mean, there's a couple other out there that I want him to try because he only just got a 3DS not too long ago.
Yeah.
What have
What
you
about
played so far? The other Zelda game, the Link Between Worlds?
Yeah, Link Between Worlds, which was awesome. That's probably the best 3DS game out there right now. I've also played the Castlevania game, which is pretty sweet, and Paper Mario Sticker Star,
Nice. Nice.
which is also awesome.
Very cool. I was gonna go to Flex, but Flex stepped away. Jose, been playing anything lately? Any games?
Not really. I'm semi-retired for a long time. However, I have been on some old 16-bit titles only because for in case I need some footage here and there or for research purposes or whatever. If there's not a speed run or long play movie format, file that I could play back in an emulator, I'll do my own. And it's not necessarily speed runs, just to complete the game. So if I need to check out any part of the game, I can just hop back to it. But that's what I do.
I love that you don't play games for fun. You play games for research. Like
I used to play for fun. I can't play for fun anymore. I've got no time for that.
Yeah.
Just none. Period.
Ain't nobody got time.
Streets of Rage 2 for 45 minutes, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and that's it.
Yeah. What about you, Jarrell?
So Steve left the call probably because he knew this was coming. But Shark, you can back me up. I got that Dreamcast when we went to Otakon.
Oh yeah.
And people didn't understand why I bought a Dreamcast. But the thing was, they didn't understand. Toy Commander.
I still don't understand.
You have to play that when I'll bring it to MagFest next week.
Yeah, we're standing at Otakon in the dealer's room, and he's buying this Dreamcast, and he's just like, it's Toy Commander. You don't understand. It's Toy Commander. I'm like, what the hell is this game? He's like, no, you don't understand. It's Toy Commander. It's like the best game. I'm like, I've never heard of this game.
I heard of it.
I have like 30 Dreamcast games. I've never heard of this game. I've heard of it. I've never tried it. It's absolutely not true.
Oh
not
my
true.
goodness.
What's not true?
The game does exist before you think that.
No, it's a real game. It's a real game. Like I watched him buy a copy of Toy Commander. It's a real game that exists.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Came with a lot of people. I remember that it seemed like a knockoff of Toy Story with those little.
Yeah, it was like the Army guys in Toy Story.
Kind of. It's a little more complicated, but kind of.
I remember it.
It was a really niche game because it came out. It was like one of the launch games, but everybody was getting Soul Calibur, so nobody cared.
Yeah.
Right.
And then like the few people who picked it up, they're like, "Oh, this is cool."
Yeah, like Dreamcast launched and everyone bought Sonic Adventure and Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
That's one of the games that stay on shelves forever, like Worms and.
Oh yeah, and then it just got drowned out by like the 40 games that Capcom released for Dreamcast.
40 games, really.
Yeah, it was that was the reason to own a Dreamcast because it was basically a Capcom arcade machine. It had all of the Capcom fighting games, like stuff like Techromancer and Project Justice, and it was awesome. So great.
I'm still a proud owner. Yeah,
I got mine downstairs. I have to hook it up and dig it out. I'm gonna play some Techromancer or something.
I remember back in those days when the Sonic Adventure 2 demo came out, and everybody was like, "Oh, we got CD burners in our computers. Let's see if we can burn this to CD and go ahead and play it now." And the demo, it worked, but like.
Yeah, I think that was part of the problem with Dreamcast. It was just so easy to pirate software because it was like, oh, you can get a boot disk and then you can like burn like the GD-ROMs. You know, you can burn CDs and you can play Dreamcast games. And then like they just started releasing self boots, so you didn't even have to get the boot CD. You just downloaded the ISO that was converted into a self boot.
The Sonic 2 demo, they did that. You didn't even need a boot CD. You just burned the demo to CD, and you just do it in your Dreamcast.
Yeah.
And like, at least that was only a demo. So
demos are small enough. But I hated that with some of those games had to be when they had to be reburned. They had to uber compress the music.
Oh yeah,
because
that's right.
the CD was too big compared to a normal CD, so it had to chop stuff.
Drop stuff. Couldn't do that. Thankfully, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was not. There wasn't much in there. It could fit a whole disc, including the music. So I got the ADX files and I was in heaven. You know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm the only one. I know how people feel about the soundtrack.
What about you?
Know how Larry feels.
Ivan, what are you playing?
I was too busy making music for Shovel Knight Compo and some other stuff, so I haven't played any games in a while.
No.
Actually, I did try to finish Gradius 3.
What did you try to finish?
Gradius 3.
Oh, Gradius.
Oh,
nice.
SNES, too hard for me. Yeah.
So
also,
how's your Shovel Knight remix going?
Slower than I expected.
What sources do you have? Who are you fighting?
Propeller Knight and Shield Knight. I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't really. It's hard to fit them together, but I'll come up with something.
That's kind of a tough combination.
Propeller Knight's my favorite track in that game.
Yeah, mine too.
It's so good.
But you have to like admit though, all of our favorite tracks changes like once every 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, because it was like when I was playing the game, I was like Spectre Knight, you know, and then it's just like, oh yeah, like freaking like Shield Knight and like the town theme, and then like now it's just like, oh yeah, it's just like Propeller Knight.
Probably a symptom of
listening to Propeller Knight all the time.
Yeah, that's a symptom of running it to death. You'll eventually get tired of one track, and then you're gonna love this other track. Yeah.
I'm not even sure if my opponent is Shield Knight. I haven't even got to adding another source. I'm trying to figure out how to do something with the Propeller Knight theme.
Yeah.
Sixto is such a C tease, Will Rock.
Yeah, he's like popping in and popping out.
What a bitch.
Just ignore him. Just ignore him. Just ignore him. Ignore him.
I'm not even gonna comment anymore. I'm just gonna let him do it.
Yeah.
He said his microphone isn't working.
Yeah. What about you, Will? How's your Shovel Knight remix going?
Oh fuck that. Yeah, you get the idea. I've been doing this Alcon thing. I don't have time for shovels and spades and whatever. But yeah, I started it and I've done about a minute of it, and now I'm going to finish it and I've got to record guitars and I've got to do it all by tomorrow because on Sunday I'm going to, I think it's called Harry Potter World, something like that.
Oh.
Nice. So yeah, it's a good nerdy day for me.
Nice.
But it means that I get one less day to work on Shovel Knight.
Yeah. For anyone watching and they don't know what we're talking about, right now I am running a compo on the forums on Overclock Remix called Knights of the Remix. It's a Shovel Knight remix compo. It's done in the style of the classic tournament stuff like Grand Robot Master Remix Battle. Every mixer picks a knight from Shovel Knight, and then they get matched up and they work their way up through a single elimination tournament. So it's pretty exciting. It's pretty cool. We've got some really talented people who have signed up for it, like Will and Yvonne and some other guys. And
some other guys you can't remember.
I don't remember. So I'm looking forward to it. The first round ends on Sunday. So hopefully the music for the first round will be up Sunday night. If I get home before.
I have a question about that. I'm not sure it's really relevant for Talkback, but I was curious about this whole thing with Jive Master and Sir Nuts and this whole Jason thing and what exactly was going on, because I asked Jason, he didn't even know what the fuck was going on. So it's all got confusing.
Well, what happened was there's a singles bracket and there's a doubles bracket. So the singles bracket is like everything is like a single remixer, and then for the doubles bracket it's like teams of two. It's like 2-man groups competing in a single elimination tournament. So they're not really brackets. They're more like tourneys. They're just completely separate because I didn't want to just limit it to 8 people competing. I wanted like more people to be able to compete because we had more people signing up. So I guess Jason Covenant signed up, and when he found out about doubles, he brought in Ghetto Lee Lewis, who is a frequent collaborator of his, and I guess what happened was we couldn't get like 8 teams, so I did some shuffling around, and Sir Nuts and Jive Master have actually collaborated in the past, and they've released stuff under a single artist name,
Helicopter Knife Fight.
Yeah, Helicopter Knife Fight. All right, Flex. Flex is leaving. Bye, Flex. Oh, he left.
Bye, Flexi.
So,
Sexy Flexi.
So they released stuff as Helicopter Knife Fight. They were actually on the Mega Man album as Helicopter Knife Fight.
The fuck? We're bitch! He's here!
Yeah. Yeah, Sixto showed up a little while ago.
And then said bye-bye.
Yeah. So I guess they had like I guess Ghetto Lee Lewis had kind of like he wanted to match up with Sir Nuts and Jive Master again, and he decided that since they didn't get put into the same bracket because I put them into the singles bracket as a single artist, he doesn't want to compete anymore, so he dropped out, which is disappointing. But I can't really force anyone to remix.
That is kind of disappointing because based on you there was always the potentiality that they wouldn't have gone up against each other anyway. If they endeavored different things and each person lost their like. Yeah.
I don't want to make too much of a big deal out of it, but I honestly would prefer it if when people sign up for a competition they actually
sign up because they want
they sign up because they want to compete, like not against a certain person, but because they want to maybe remix the music and they're interested in the music. But I guess that wasn't the case in this instance. So I'm a little disappointed, but again, like I said, I can't force anyone to remix if they don't want to remix. So
force people to remix. That should be like a OC Remix's motto: forcing people to remix.
Sixto was actually signed up before, but he had to bow out because I think he's going to be busy with some.
Well, Sixto's a bitch.
With some. He's getting mad. Sixto, what are you playing lately, man?
Oh man, a whole bunch of stuff. I actually just a few days ago I beat Demon's Crest Super Nintendo.
Oh wow!
I remember that.
Yeah. Freaking hard.
You're going through like all these old games now, right?
Yes. It's just, I mean, all of the stuff I missed out when I was a kid. When I was a kid, all I ever really played on Nintendo was like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Yeah.
Over and over and over. And
did you ever actually beat Mike Tyson?
No. I got to Mike Tyson once, and I mean, it was terrible. Yeah. I was so freaked out that I was at Mike Tyson, I couldn't handle it. I just didn't even try.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people get there and they can't handle it anyway because he is ridiculous in that game. So.
Yeah.
I don't think Mike Tyson can actually beat Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Like they had Mike Tyson play the game and like he couldn't even beat Brass Joe.
You may be asking a lot of the guy, but. I don't know his acumen for games, though.
Yeah, he's a boxer. But I think I remember a couple of weeks ago, Sixto, you were tweeting a lot about like Mega Man, like the original Mega Man you were getting into, right?
Oh yeah, I'm still into Mega Man. I was going through the games and I got to 4, but I kind of decided I had to stop and start all over because I was using save states.
Oh yeah.
It just felt like cheating to me, like. It was only for so I wouldn't have to restart from the beginning when I tried to play again. But
Yeah.
No, I want to, I want to try to beat the games as they were made back then.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't until 3 or something they started using codes to
the password system.
Yeah, passwords.
Mega Man 2 also has passwords.
Oh, 2? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I've always found that really interesting because I do agree with you where sort of save states are sort of it does feel like cheating, but if you're using save states, it's highly likely that you've downloaded it illegally off the internet. Am I right?
Not necessarily, because the 3DS basically allows for a form of save states in its emulation nowadays. So
okay.
Yeah. Also, if you delete the ROM within 24 hours,
I just want to say that I never download any illegal ROMs or anything, and I have no idea if they have save states or not. I don't even know what save states are. I just make that term.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the definition of the word illegal, of course.
But if you're into like the old retro style stuff, and like emulating old stuff, you check out the Extra Mario Brothers ROM hack.
I did try that.
I don't know if you guys have played that or anything, but Extra Mario Brothers is insane. It's like it's this ROM hack of the original Super Mario Brothers, and it converts it into a Metroidvania game.
Oh, that's something else.
Yeah.
I think I've seen a few videos on
It's like this
YouTube.
one giant continuous world that you basically, well, not continuous, but you travel between like the different places by using pipes and stuff, and you'll actually end up going back to the beginning of a level, and you find upgrades for the fire flower and stuff. It's crazy.
Nice.
It's crazy.
Sounds good.
It's really good.
I tried a hack that was I'm not even sure what it was called. I don't remember, but level 1 starts, you start in the game, and it just drops you.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah, that's
what the
a hard one.
And you kind of have to start the game by holding right, and you land on a platform, and the whole level was like I couldn't get past the first level. I just gave up.
Yeah.
That's like that Kaizo Mario Brothers for Super Nintendo.
An actual game?
Yeah, it's a ROM hack. But it's basically asshole Mario Brothers, which is basically just it's designed to destroy you.
Yeah.
We actually watched.
Oh, go on.
I was about to say we actually watched Kaiser beat Kaiser Mario World just because it's the name. He's like, I got to do this. But he actually, but he actually went through the whole thing, and we just watched him, and he was good enough to beat it completely.
Well, I mean, the thing about that game is that it's not a platformer. It's a puzzle game with reflexes.
Mm-hmm.
The levels are actually designed every time you get to a certain part of the level, that's a puzzle, and there's a very specific way to beat that part of the level to get to the next section of the level. So if you think of it less as a platformer that's just really hard and unforgiving, and more of a puzzle game, then it makes more sense. It's kind of if you ever played the game Demon's Souls or Dark Souls. The original Demon's Souls, especially for PS3, is like that. On the surface, it looks like an action RPG, but it's not an action RPG. It's a puzzle game wearing an action RPG's hat, So, because there's all these very specific things you have to do to get around and traverse through the world and all this other stuff. And it's not an action RPG. It's a puzzle. It's very much a puzzle game. Situational puzzle.
One thing that I've always I don't know if this is quite the same thing as you're talking about, but I sort of had a similar experience when I played Silver Surfer, because I stuck at it a little bit longer than most people. So I managed to beat the 5 stages. And I got to the 6th stage and fucking gave up because, but the thing is that you have to know where you are, you have to know what you're doing. But once you know what you're doing in the stage, everything happens the same way. So once you know where you are, where you're shooting, what you're doing, it becomes a lot easier as a result of that. So it's more a memory game.
Yeah,
that's sort of
that's
the
game. I don't know if you guys ever played Sonic Rush for DS.
Been meaning to.
Nope.
Sonic Rush is really good, and when it came out, a lot of people were saying it wasn't good, and they're wrong. They're just wrong.
They're Sonic fans.
Because
Sonic fans are always wrong.
The thing is, Sonic Rush. If you just hold right and try to run through the level, it's not really gonna work. You're gonna die because there's like bottomless pits and all this other stuff. The thing is, Sonic Rush is called Sonic Rush because it's a speed run game. You're supposed to memorize every level and basically shave your time and run all these levels as quickly as you can. And you have to memorize the level, because if you don't memorize the level, you are going to die, because Sonic just runs really fast in that game. And if you don't know to jump right away, because you know that there's bottomless pit way off the screen, then you're gonna die. But if you memorize the level, and you have to die a lot when you're playing the game in order to discover all these things, then you will actually it's so fun when you know a level inside out, and you're just flying through this level and hitting everything, and you get S rank on all the stages. It's fantastic, fantastic game.
Has anyone here played I Want to Be the Guy?
No. No, I haven't played that.
It's a hard game. Somebody made it on the internet. It features all cameos from different games, Castlevania.
Yeah.
But it's really hard, and I played it 2 years ago. I beat it, and I still remember every obstacle in the game where it was, because it was so hard, and you had to memorize everything.
It's actually very similar to Kaizo Mario World, except much tougher.
Hang on a second, guys. Will's gonna be. Will, is there anything you wanted to plug before you left, or?
I haven't thought about this. No. Bye-bye.
All right. Good night, man. All right, he's gone. Demias, what's up, man?
What's up, man?
Hey.
Yeah.
I got a webcam.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Nice.
Very, very nice. So, what are you playing lately? What games are you playing lately?
I finally decided to try Mega Man 01.
Oh, that's a hard game.
My god. That game is so hard, I had to give my 3DS to RNN because I couldn't handle it. Just take my 3DS, and she still got it.
Yeah.
I don't want it back.
I ended up using save states at the very beginning of each level, so I wouldn't have to go through the intro of each level, all the text. And then I just started out and then did each level over and over again until I got 100-point, no damage speedruns.
Yeah. Talking about save states.
Yeah, that's a good way to use save states.
And I was talking about Terranigma earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever played this game. It's really good RPG.
Heard of it.
Zelda style top-down action RPG. Really good. Awesome.
I've heard about it. I've listened to the soundtrack. The soundtrack is good, but I haven't played it.
Gotta play it. So when I played it for the first time, I played it as a ROM. It was an emulated game because it never came out in the U.S. and I didn't have a Super Nintendo anyway when I was a kid. I had a Sega Genesis, but I got really into emulating Super Nintendo RPGs and stuff, like most people did, years ago, and that's how I basically played all these games. So Terranigma, when I was playing Terranigma, I used save states so much that I actually ended up being severely underpowered in the game because I was using save states in battles. I was using them so much that there was a boss that I was fighting, and it took me forever to kill her because I was doing 3 points of damage and 6 points of damage because I had I was not leveled appropriately, I was basically just going through the game and save stating so much that I was, it was so funny because then my brother played through the game and he didn't do the save state stuff. He just played normally. And when he got up to that boss, he fought her and he beat her super fast. And I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot.
That's what happened to me when I played the Vagrant Story on PS1. Well, on an emulator. I used save states and I got to a boss where I dealt 0 damage.
Yeah.
And I could get 1 damage hit once in every 5 minutes. So But I beat him after 3 or 4 hours.
You wore him down. Oh, it's the
but then I realized I was playing the game wrong, so I
was playing the game wrong, but you know, it didn't know any better back then, you know.
Yeah. Well,
nowadays you just grind and grind. So
that was when I was like 17 or 18.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll beat your ass.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. Oh, man, no questions tonight from the Twitter.
States are bad.
Abados says, "Yo, what's up? What's up, man?" That's about it. That's like the only question we have tonight.
Now that I mentioned Vagrant Story, there was a question a few weeks ago that I wanted to see answered, but it wasn't. What's your favorite video game one-liner? Like a quote.
Damn.
I see where this is going.
I can't
at least as far as
video game one-liner would be from Samurai Showdown 4. Kiyoshiro Senryu says when he's fighting Ukyo, Tachibana Ukyo, he says, "You dance like an angel in steel-tipped boots. Show it to me again." And then they fight. And that's such like a ridiculous SNK like line. You dance like an angel in steel-tipped boots. Show it to me again. Favorite line, best line ever.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Favorite.
Well, I can say mine. That's what made me remember the question. In Vagrant Story, like the first cutscene, your character comes in, Ashley Riot, and you're about to attack a castle.
Yeah, I played it.
And he said he's with Callum Melrose, that's his partner, and she says, "We need to wait for reinforcements." And he says, "Reinforcements? I am the reinforcements." And attacks.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You can't beat your own reinforcements.
Yeah, but he goes and he beats the bad guys.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually Riot. I mean,
I am the reinforcement. Favorite one-liner. That's like Schwarzenegger stuff.
Yeah, that's like Last Action Hero, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to put him in the Expendables.
Yeah.
I am the reinforcement.
Anyone else favorite one-liner from a video game?
I got one. Mine's from Skies of Arcadia. It's one of the lines Vice said, and it just, I don't know, it kind of hit me. It's like, it's kind of cruel, but it's also one that works pretty well as like a real life thing to remember if you ever like feel down in the dumps and want to turn your life around. His quote, he said, "Impossible is just a word people use to make themselves feel better when they quit."
Good one.
That's good. That's pretty inspirational.
Yeah.
Interesting. Impossible is the word that people use.
Mine was more in the cheesy type of stuff, and this is like inspirational.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Back to the Chief. No, I haven't got anything. At least I can't think of anything. Besides the obvious badly translated lines or bad dubbed lines.
Yeah.
Well, their pays belong to us.
If you play SNK fighting games, you know, that's just like, that's a treasure trove of like weird one-liners.
Yeah.
Sixta, what about you, man? Any good one-liners from video games that you like?
No, I can't think of anything.
No. All right.
Actually, I don't know if this counts as a one-liner, but something I remember from BioShock. No, yeah, BioShock.
Yeah.
No, not BioShock. Yeah, BioShock. BioShock 2? No. Wait a minute.
You're having a lot of trouble with this one.
What's the line? Maybe we can figure it out.
I think it. Jesus. Something like if you would kindly.
Would you kindly?
Would you kindly? Yeah. Was that BioShock?
Yeah, that's BioShock.
Yeah, that was BioShock.
That's BioShock.
Okay. Yeah, BioShock. Okay. Yeah. Would you kindly?
Yeah. Yeah. So would you kindly, would you kindly, would you kindly?
Yeah, and every time he said it, you would, you do what he
do
asked.
it because that was the trigger.
Yeah.
And if you've played Buried at Sea for BioShock Infinite, you know where that comes from.
I haven't played it.
Yeah.
I bought that game day one. I haven't played it.
Infinite?
Yeah. Or BioShock 2.
Good game.
I'm still working my way through
okay.
those. I beat Infinite. I haven't played Burial at Sea. I'm like halfway through BioShock 1.
Burial at Sea links Infinite to BioShock 1. Yeah, it's very weird. I'm not sure I like that they did that, but it's interesting. Yeah. All right. So not a lot of questions tonight, so I think we might just close it out.
We actually just got a question from Beatdrop on Twitter.
Beatdrop says, "Babies, how'd you get to be so cool?" Just living life. The real question, though, is what are your go-to methods to inspire musical creativity? Yeah, let's go down the line. Yvonne.
I don't know. I just start playing something on the guitar and it ends up being music.
Just start playing. That's a good one-liner. I just start playing something on the guitar and it ends up being music. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm not that creative.
No. What about you, Jarrell? Have you worked on music lately?
Been trying to. Got some things I gotta get out pretty soon. But for the most part, I just listen to a bunch of other music, and eventually things will just start percolating.
Yeah. Jose?
More or less the same. It's I've said some of it before. I will go to my own library because my tastes are diverse. It's, all kind of styles, all kind of genres. So something is bound to come up. If I needed to finish a part here, need to finish a phrase there, or need to finish a song, for God's sake, something eventually comes up, either through there or taking the main melody or some hook and just keep running in my head all day because I can't avoid earworms. So it comes up and I throw it into different styles in my own head. So either way, bound to come up with something. I just hope it doesn't take too long.
Yeah. I think my answer is exactly what your answer is. Verbatim. Sixto, what about you, man?
I guess it'd kind of be the same thing, but for me, it's more listening to music that I don't normally listen to. Like for instance, Kilim, I don't know what his name is. He's on the IRC chat.
Oh, yeah.
He linked me to this chiptune mixed with FM synthesis kind of music.
Mm-hmm.
And
Zero Bomber?
No, it's Aaron. Dang it, Fear of Dark and oh, come on. Artist. Give me a second. Trying to pull it up.
Reminds me of I ran to, somebody linked to a couple of websites where artists are getting into more of the FM stuff as opposed to usual C64s and SNES stuff. Especially now, there are a lot of tools nowadays that we've been able to study them.
I think though that you don't hear a lot of SNES stuff. A lot of the retro style stuff that you hear is like NES. A lot of 8-bit style chiptune.
Right.
And was it SNES music like sample based?
Yeah, SNES was sample based.
Yeah, that makes it a little more difficult because you can't not sound like a previous game.
It still has kind of a very specific sound. Like if you listen to the Green Sea soundtrack by Pongball, she basically nails it.
Okay.
Like that Green Sea soundtrack may as well have been written on a Super Nintendo. I mean, it's just really good. Like the composition, like the musical composition and the content of it is really good. But it sounds very authentic. Like, it sounds exactly like a Super Nintendo soundtrack. It's insane.
Oh,
don't really hear a lot of that.
The guy I was trying to talk about is Blitz Lunar.
Lunar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and all right, I used to not like chiptunes. Well, I used to hate chiptunes. It was boring to me. I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Didn't get it, but I was linked to something, listening to it, and I couldn't stop listening. I was like, wow, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I was just listening, and I just, all these ideas started flooding. A lot of inspiration.
Yeah.
And after a while, I was like, well, this isn't legit chiptune, so let me try to get back into like some of the NES stuff, the Game Boy stuff, and I was listening to that, and I was like, wow, this sounds great too. And people would always say to me stuff like, yeah, back then composers had to deal with limitations, so that's why they were so. Yeah. And I always thought, oh, that's bullshit. I don't believe that. But then I was talking to Snapple Man. He was explaining to me back in the NES days, there was no polyphony. It was like one note at a time.
Yeah.
So they were forced to convey these complex chords.
Yeah.
With these great melodies, and I was like, yeah, it's true. So then I started getting, even more inspired. I haven't made anything yet, but the inspiration's there.
You know what's a good chiptune soundtrack that really illustrates that kind of concept really well, of like, just pushing the hardware like really to beyond its limits. Kirby's Adventure.
Kirby's Adventure.
The Kirby's Adventure soundtrack for NES. It's like, you listen to all the little things that are happening in that soundtrack, in those pieces. It is like, oh wow, like that's just two square waves and a triangle and like the PCM or whatever,
See, what I want to know is, I love the soundtrack for Shovel Knight.
Yeah.
And I know Vert did that in a Family Tracker or some kind of tracker.
Yeah.
But what I want to know is, was that kind of music, the way he's made it, was that possible back then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, because you can actually download an NSF of Shovel Knight. And he's working on getting.
I think he used 2 extra channels.
He might be using the VRC.
The expansion, yeah.
Possibly. He's using an expansion chip, but it is hard. It does run on hardware, because he's actually he's gonna put out like a hardware recording of Shovel Knight.
Right. Okay.
100% authentic, yes.
Yeah. So it actually it is pretty authentic. So that kind of stuff that he did in Shovel Knight, the hardware can actually do that, which is amazing.
What I guess I figured the stuff didn't sound as good back then was because what I noticed a lot when I'm playing Mega Man is that I'm listening to the music, and when Mega Man jumps or shoots, a sound comes out and a piece of the music cuts off.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, maybe they're having to share these channels.
And that's also clever programming, because they have to go decide what channel can stand being muted for.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah. Okay.
It's crazy.
It is.
Amazing.
I'm just getting into it. We'll hopefully have a series coming soon.
Yeah.
Cool.
Stick with 16-bit chip music, and I want that to be 100% authentic as well. There may be something one day. Stay tuned.
Cool.
I remember speaking back on the Shovel Knight bit. I saw a funny article note about this. One of the not the main programmer, but I think it was the main programmer behind Shovel Knight wrote a series of articles for some websites about the design and the money they made, where it all went, what they all did with it. What the effort was to make
Gama Sutra.
Yeah, it was a Gama Sutra article. And I found it funny because one of the notes mentioned that how Jake was mentioning that the entire Shovel Knight soundtrack, not only is it legitimate and it can be played on actual Famicom hardware, but the NSF file can fit in a Kirby's Adventure ROM.
Yeah.
And the main programmer was like, yeah, but...
Airman stage.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but the main programmer was like, yeah, it can fit in a Kirby's Adventure ROM, but only if you take the entire Kirby's Adventure game out. It just barely fit. Besides that.
Sixto, what are you doing, man? What are you doing?
That's my phone.
Oh. Do you have different Robot Masters set up as ringtones for different people?
Yes, I do.
I'm trying to not Robot Master, but I'm trying to do that with my own.
Who is calling me?
Airman.
I'm sorry.
Whoever calls himself Airman. But I'm doing that.
He's like, yeah, Airman's calling me. I gotta take this.
Airman's calling me. Can't defeat Airman. Airman got the house tonight.
I put my father as Dr. Wily.
Yeah.
I got Night Riders as my morning alarm.
Yeah.
Turtles in Time. Arcade, dude.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of that,
go ahead.
No, I was going to comment that a buddy of mine from work, he actually gave me a bunch of his old consoles, Super Nintendo, cool. 2 N64s, which I never had, Genesis, and stacks of games, and picked up an old TV, and man, I haven't been able to stop playing Turtles in Time. Just took me right back to that. Oh,
yeah,
so good.
So good. It's a great game. Great soundtrack.
Yeah.
Don't play the remake.
No. Well, it's too late. I already did. It was all right. Played it with a couple of OCR guys.
Yeah, but the soundtrack on the remake is just...
Yeah. I think it's the arcade version. I wasn't into that.
Shame. No, it's not. It's like it's just they wrote new music for it because they couldn't get that. Yeah, because like the old Turtles in Time soundtrack uses a lot of the like, it uses music from like the show. It's all based on like that one Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme from the show.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And like the license changed hands on Turtles like so many times. That they can't use that song anymore. Which is just like it. I don't know. It's like so much of like what we love about like old stuff from the 80s is just like it comes from like the music, like the soundtracks, right? Like Thundercats. The show Thundercats. That show is terrible. Like go back and you watch it now, and it's like it's not really that good. It just has like a really, really good theme song,
Today I spent some time listening to 80s and 90s cartoon openings.
Yeah.
YouTube. Those songs were amazing.
Yeah, and like but the shows themselves, like when you watch them again, it's like wow, that really wasn't that good, And it's like
I tried watching Transformers Generation 1.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago.
And it's like
it's terrible.
And like they made that new Thundercats show, which was like the show was actually really good, but like the one thing everyone wanted in that show was the Thundercats theme song, and they didn't have it. It was like just like a kind of like an orchestral version of it. I was like, come on, where's like the thunder? It's no good. And
but that is a relic of its time. So.
I don't know. I feel like that theme song still holds up. The Thundercats theme song.
It would, but you have to do it right. You have to do it right because you have the wrath of the entire internet behind it, and if one note is off, everybody savages you.
The best cartoon intro theme is the Mask.
The Mask.
Not the Mask.
Right. It's Mask, not the Mask.
M-A-S-K.
Yeah,
not
I remember that
cartoon based on The Mask, but the cartoon called M-A-S-K.
Mobile Armor. Well, I forgot what.
Yeah.
M.A.S.K.
What about
Silverhawks?
The
Silverhawks.
Silverhawks theme.
Yeah, back to Silverhawks.
Silverhawks theme.
Yes. With that fake ass guitar solo.
Oh, it's so good.
So much.
It's so good. Yeah, we were at MomoCon and we went to like Emory University with Larry and we were working on the PowerPoint for the panel for the next day, and I was like, oh, like we got to put this on. It's the Silverhawks theme. And we were just like, Larry was just like, what is this? We were really singing it on. Silverhawks! So good.
It's the best.
The Silverhawks theme is just fantastic. But like Silverhawks was basically just like Thundercats. They were like in space, and then they had one where they were underwater. It was called Tiger Sharks.
Really?
Yeah. That song sucks. That song is no good.
That wasn't the same crew though. No.
It was the same studio because it was just like it was like they made Thundercats and Thundercats was successful, so then they made Silverhawks.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I clearly remember the titles. Those were among the best you ever seen.
And then like Tiger Sharks was also one of those shows. That was just like,
I don't recall it. But so like what Thundercats and Silverhawks and like all the budget went into the titles.
Oh yeah, because they had the Japanese studios like draw. Yeah, they had the Japanese studios draw like the openings, but then like when you watch the show,
that was Japanese too. But they just brought out the low budget seat team.
Yeah, garbage.
Extremely limited. Yeah, I've never liked it because of that. Silverhawks. But there was quality to be had out there. But that's why I'm all about the animation. Everything else would probably stink, but if it looks good on TV,
I guess so.
So yeah. I mean, that was what it was like in the 80s. So there was a lot of bad shit, but there was a lot of good shit. And when the good shit came on, it was really, really freaking good.
Yeah,
you could have the rest.
I mean, I'm a child of the 80s and the 90s, and like I don't feel like anything from the 80s really, really holds up the way that.
Especially not story-wise. Well, I'm totally agree. Listen, I thought a lot of it stunk too. I was already a teenager at the time. Yeah. I could tell you that everything I thought sucked.
Yeah, like I watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the original Turtles cartoon, like religiously every Saturday morning, and I watched it like a couple years ago, and I was just like, this is awful. Like this
it definitely looked awful most of the time.
Well, no, but the writing was just so bad.
It was difficult, but it was
like, why did I watch? Why did I think this was good?
We were kids. They were for kids. That's another thing.
Yeah, but you know what? But like you say, okay. But here's the thing: you say like, oh, it was for kids. But I don't feel like that's fair to kids because kids can appreciate things that are good. Because
they can, but it takes them decades to do that.
No, because like here's the thing. I have Darkwing Duck on DVD.
Darkwing Duck, best cartoon ever.
And I watched Darkwing Duck I loved it as a kid. And then I watched it again when I got it on DVD, like years and years and years later, when I was like, in my 20s. And I'm like, this show is amazing. It was like so brilliantly written. Like the sheer density of puns that they have in the writing. This is like rapid fire, and
Darkwing Duck is the best cartoon ever. There's no debate.
It's so.
It is because I'm not a pun person.
That's Sharika in a nutshell. Pun guy.
It's not. It's yeah.
It's not.
I don't think you don't have to be a pun person to appreciate just how clever the script writing was for Darkwing Duck. I mean, all of those Disney shows like DuckTales is amazing. Like you can watch DuckTales now and you're just like, wow, this is really good. You know,
a lot of them were based on really good comics.
Yeah, definitely. But like,
I had that. Yeah, no contest. I know that.
But
it was definitely a cut above.
So there's the stuff that was like, the action shows like TMNT and like Thundercats and all these old shows that really did not hold up. And then, but then you had stuff like more like in the late '80s and the early '90s, and then you had like Batman the Animated Series. When that hit, that was like watershed for like kids, kids cartoons and animation in general.
Well, that's what I mean.
I think you're right that kids can recognize what's good and what's bad though, because like take for example like 10 years ago, like kids who were watching cartoons then, a lot of kids thought that a good number of the cartoons on Disney and Nickelodeon, some of them are actually okay. A lot of them sucked, and a lot of kids then realized that because those same kids were like picking up Avatar: The Last Airbender at the time, and they could accurately judge that those shows were bad and this show was amazing.
Yeah.
So kids can pick that up sometimes. Yeah, that's true.
You also have a lot of people nowadays that grow up and say, "Oh, I didn't understand shit back then."
Yeah, and the thing is, here's another thing. Like the thing is, kids will watch anything, right? Like kids will watch. Like we know that as kids we watched anything because we didn't know better, right? But here's the thing: when you have something that is really good, kids recognize when something is really good, and they get engaged in those kinds of things. So like when you have sophisticated, cartoons like Avatar: The Last Airbender or like Young Justice, which was on Cartoon Network last year, like 2 years ago, and you know, a lot of these like newer like action shows, action cartoons that sort of had like deeper storylines and stuff. Kids love that. Like they grab onto that, and they understand the complexity in cartoons and stuff.
Sometimes not. But the main point, I think, is because adults love that. And let's not kid ourselves. I think that's part of the reason why we moved to more sophisticated fare, is because they realize the kids don't have the cash. It's the adults that do. If you got kids and adults that love it, that's a whole family show. And that's more merch.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a lot of people who grew up watching the old stuff become adults who want to do their own stuff.
Yeah.
And always think they can do better than what someone pulled out their ass a decade ago. And that's going to keep happening. And people, I remember when Jeremy, I think, had a post on Facebook. Tosser was talking about he can't stand how older people from an older generation would talk about, things are getting worse and worse nowadays. You kids, And I was like, it's always been like that. Every generation, we do get better, we do improve. But
you get that a lot. You see that a lot when you go and listen to like old music on YouTube. Mm-hmm. You know, you always have like people saying like, "Oh, why does this is so much better than like music that like this is so much better than music today." Which is I just like want to rant for like 1 second about this. Like music today, like when you say music today, that doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because music today is all music ever from like anything. Because the internet has made all music accessible. Right? So when you say music from the 80s is better than music today, that doesn't mean anything.
No, of course
not. It's wrong because you can find anything that you want to listen to. Anything, like any kind of music you want to listen to, is accessible now.
Mm-hmm. But
radio is not the gatekeeper anymore. If you are only listening to the radio, then you are listening to like less than 1% of like the music that is available to you today. Easily available to you today.
You're listening to radio. But the point I wanted to make was, there's good music then, there's good music now. I agree with that, or I don't agree. However, what I wanted to say, things do get better. There is always improvement. Each generation, I think, does get better, but some things get better, some things get worse. But what I wanted to ask him was, will you feel that way in 20 years when kids in 2 generations from now start shitting on your favorite stuff?
No, but here's the thing, right? Like, here's the thing. People are like, oh yeah, like all the music, like even like young people now will listen to stuff from the 80s or like the 70s or the 90s, and they'll be like, oh yeah, like music back then was awesome, you know, like and now like it just sucks, or like, you know, movies back then or like cartoons back then were awesome and now they're terrible. It's like, look, like that's not true. Like music, there was so much music that came out in the 80s that was garbage, and the reason you don't hear it anymore is because it's garbage. It was garbage, and it didn't survive like the test of time. It didn't because time is a filter. Time is a filter, and it just filters out all of the crappy stuff that doesn't survive, and then what we're left with is the stuff that stands the test of time. So we remember all like the great video games from back then, and all the great music from back then, and all the awesome movies from back then. But the thing is, if you go back and you actually look at like all the games that came out for like Nintendo and for Super Nintendo, there are so many garbage games for those systems. You know, and it's like you're not like because in 20 years there are going to be people who are like, they're going to be looking back to this decade and they're going to be talking about how about all the great games that came out this decade, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, like the teens was an amazing decade for video games. It's like, but you're not remembering all of the garbage games that came out like this year because they didn't survive into like 2035.
Yeah.
You know?
And we're kind of doing that right now, actually. Like there's a site called GameBoyWorld.com. It's run by Jeremy Parrish from 1UP US Gamer. He's basically going through like all the Game Boy games ever and doing like 6 to 10 minute videos on each one.
Yeah.
And he's pretty early on in the Game Boy's life, but just starting on. It's a really awesome site, but it really drills home this exact fact because, like, I remember Game Boys having amazing games because I only played the amazing ones.
Yeah.
But then I'd totally forgotten that I played like Castlevania: The Adventure, and he did the video for that, and I just was like, oh yeah, that game was like horribly shitty.
Yeah.
Like this is a bad game, and you just forget that over time that some of those games were that bad. So.
Not to say there isn't such a thing as overlooked stuff.
No, there is, but you know, like I used to have XM radio, and like I used to listen to the 80s station a lot, and they used to do this thing called Bottom 40, where like you know, they'd be playing like all the classic 80s stuff like Journey and like, you know, Cyndi Lauper and all this stuff, but then they'd be like, all right, here's like a bottom 40 like, you know, thing, and it would be like a song you just did not like that did not survive like the test of time. You know, look. And it's like this is a song from the 80s, and like they eventually stopped calling it bottom 40 because they realized calling it bottom 40 is really mean, so they started calling them lost 80s hits. Like these are some good songs from the 80s that basically didn't survive the 80s. And so like, you know, you would listen to these songs and you just listen to it and you're like, wow, I can tell why this is a lost hit, because like, you know, it just didn't, there's nothing really to it, you know.
I could give you the history on it. Remember, I was brought up on 80s R&B.
Oh yeah. Yes.
And I can tell you exactly how few drum machines were used in a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I was in high school talking about I always wanted the DX7. I always wanted the Lynn drums. And all of that. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
I think there was actually a point in the early 90s where producers pretty much had a rule where they said no real drums in music, only the samples.
Yeah.
They can afford those in the studio. It's not different than today.
If you take a listen to some of the real 90s drums, like Metallica's Saint Anger.
Oh, yeah.
Then you see it's better.
About that. Let's not remember that.
It would have been better if they used samples instead of live drums.
I'm going to pretend that CD never came out.
That's the shittiest drum sound in any song ever. Metallica's Saint Anger.
Yeah.
Don't listen to it.
All right, guys, it's 10:30. We started around like 9:15, so I think we got to wrap it up because I am dead tired. I am dead tired. I've been going to New York City all week for training for work, and I've been driving like both ways, and it's,
oh Jesus, I had no idea.
Yeah, and it's just like
that's a killer commute.
It's terrible, man. But fortunately, I'm done. But so I'm going back to Rutgers next week. But yeah, I'm dying here. So let's go through and do some plugs and promotions and stuff. Whatever you guys want to like promote. Yvonne, what do you got? Anything?
I got something this month. Great Showdown. Chrono Trigger versus Final Fantasy VI on Dwelling of Duels.
Nice.
If you play a live instrument and are a fan of those two games, make a remix and enter the competition. It's gonna be epic.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
That's the ultimate SNES showdown.
Yeah, so that's dwellingofduels.net.
Yeah.
Check it out. Gerald, what do you got?
Nothing specific. I guess I'll just plug MagFest 8.5 since we will all be there next. Well, not all of us, but a significant number of OCR people will be there next week.
Next week, it's exciting, man. I'm
Sorry I
excited.
couldn't make it.
Jose, what do you got?
Well, besides the bunch of other things, which I need to get back. See, I've been missing for a while. You guys know this. I've been, see that the new bookshelves, not new bookshelves. These bookshelves were in my living room for like the last 10, 15 years. I moved them up here. I reconfigured my whole house. I had a week off from work, and I decided I was dropping a lot of my OCR projects, current music project, whatever projects, and decided to catch up on all my other damn affairs. And it's been beautiful. I've been away from a while because I was enjoying, you know.
Yeah, life.
Seriously, I was telling people at work.
Don't have to work on another stupid album trailer.
Seriously though, no. You know what? I tell my coworker Gina. I may have mentioned her before, but because she's willing to listen to me geek out when I talk about this stuff. So I tell her, yeah, another trailer coming up. But I gotta jump back in, and since Mr. Timaeus is sitting in front of me, the Snatcher album is still happening. I'm coming up with it. I know it's been crazy. That's one thing. Bunch of other things. FF9 coming up. We got albums. We got trailers. We got God knows. It's in a list. However, the one thing I mentioned before, possibly Monday, I'm starting a thing called 16-bit renditions, which is no different than what a lot of people doing. Just taking a song, maybe the original song, maybe a song, and remixing. I don't like remix. I don't like all these other words that are inaccurate. That's why I say 16-bit renditions. It's this first one will sound like it will be authentic Genesis.
Nice.
Hopefully, I will come up with a file that will play back in the actual hardware.
Oh, awesome.
The advent of the stuff nowadays, including FM Drive by Ali James Studio, which replicates almost exactly, even the noise, even the quantization noise from the original Genesis is in there.
Wow.
So I've been having fun with that. So I'm gonna try to have my first track soon on YouTube. I hope to make a series out of it. Like I said, too busy, but that would be the first thing. So again, stay tuned.
Very cool. Sixto, what do you got?
Well, I guess a bunch of little things I've been working on. I was kind of bummed out that I couldn't stick with the Shovel Knight compo that you were doing, but I did start a remix that I want to finish.
Cool.
Kind of put out there. But yeah, little stuff.
Tobias, what do you got, man? Anything you want to plug, promote?
I'm thinking, just go back to the Game Boy Advance or Game Boy 25th anniversary album.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a great album.
Obviously the Shovel Knight comp and again the Snatcher album.
Did your track on Game Boy 25 just get mix posted like a day or two ago?
Yeah, I did.
And the Badass Volume 3 album that should be coming out maybe after next year starts.
Yeah,
another one I wish I could have jumped into. Very
cool. I want to plug, as always, the Mega Man album, mm25.ocremix.org. It's Forever Lasting Peace, 25 years of Mega Man. It's our like one single commercial album that we put out on OCR.
Yeah.
When you buy it, it helps support the site, and it helps support the remixers.
Helps with Sixto.
And it actually, support Sixto. Buy the album.
Whatever reason you need.
So it also, so it's really cool. We did it with Capcom. The album art is really nice. RNN did the album art. So, it's $10 on iTunes, $10 on Amazon MP3, $10 digital on CD Baby, and you can also order a physical copy if you want. From CD Baby, and you can also order it from Amazon. Actually, Amazon will actually sell you a physical copy and fulfill it. They sell it on behalf of CD Baby, but they will fulfill it. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can get like the free shipping and stuff, so you don't have to pay the shipping and handling for the CD if you buy it on Amazon. It's a 2-disc album. It's really nice. I think I have it over here.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I always have it over here. It's a 2-disc album. It looks like this, if you guys can see it. Really nice album art that looks official, but it's fan art. Really nice disc art. You guys have heard the story like a million times about like the album art, so I'm not going to tell you the story about the CD art. But you don't know the story about the CD art?
I don't.
Oh, so like the CD art, RNN did the CD art, and RNN. She's on the forums. She's like super into like the combos and stuff. So her and Jarrell actually came over my house for like a weekend for like hang out and stuff. And because she was up here, we were working on the album art and we were putting together like this thing, and we actually spent about, Gerald, how long did we spend on this?
It's like 4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours on the CD art, trying to like come up with a good layout. The CD art was originally going to have like the blue clouds that's on the cover of the CD. The blue clouds on there, and we were sitting here. It was me and her, and then Jarrell was sitting like back here in a chair, alternately, I think, playing DS and falling asleep.
Yeah, because it was like 4 or 5 hours. Come on. What else was I supposed to do?
Meanwhile, me and her like sitting here like with Photoshop open, we're like, oh yeah, like do this and this and this, and and then like we actually like killed like the clouds and stuff on the CD art, and just had like the white background. And I just did like this thing like, oh, like what if we do this, and what if I like zoom in on Mega Man and put him like that? And I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but what if we do this? And then we both look at it for a second, and we were like, that actually looks pretty good. And then we ended up building the CD art using that style from there, and that's like the story of the CD art. It was really cool. We spent a lot of time, especially on like this cover was like me and Larry and DJ Pretzel and Jose on a Google Hangout call one night, and I was like doing all the edits, and they were like giving me suggestions and all this other stuff.
It's a great cover.
It's one of the best looking albums I think we've ever put out.
Which reminds me, we need to try at this MagFest. We'd always joke that we should get a bunch of OCR staff to pose in the poses all those Mega Men characters.
Yeah, I want to do that. Do like a
yeah. That looks kind of weird. The way they're all posed, like they're all looking to the right or the left. Nobody's looking straight.
Yeah. I like it. I want to have like a whole bunch of people like do that. Like, and I want to be Zero. I want to be like
in Mega Man cosplay.
Yeah, in Mega Man cosplay. I want to see someone do like Mega Man cosplayers just like recreate the album cover.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, we could find out. Oh, we're gonna start dragging everybody around. Find the Mega Man, find the Zero.
Yeah. I want to be Zero, just like that, like. But yeah, mm25.ocremix.org. Pick it up. Also, check out the Shovel Knight remix composition, which is Knights of the Remix 2014. It's on the forums. The music should be the first round's music should be coming out this Sunday, probably Sunday evening, because I'll be driving back from my sister's place on Sunday. So look for that. That's gonna be really fun and really cool. And make sure you guys vote next week if you.
Can I just say
that? Yeah.
Technically, only Sir Nuts is a knight. He has a Sir title.
Yeah.
But who knighted him, though?
Yeah.
He's knighted himself.
He's a pretender, and the whole point of this competition is to knight the winner. So
yeah.
The shower curtain fell on him one time, and that's how he thought.
So Mega Man, Shovel Knight. And also, obviously, I of course want to promote OC Remix. Support us on Patreon, patreon.com/OCRemix. Follow us on Twitter @OCRemix. Facebook is Facebook/OCRemix. And then also subscribe on YouTube. You're watching this on YouTube, so just hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already.
Thank you guys for bringing us through the 2,000 threshold. So we're working things out with Adobe Cloud.
Yeah. It's the Patreon's going pretty well. Thank you everyone who is a patron for contributing, and it's really cool. I also contribute to OCR, so it's not like staff members are taking the money and doing stuff with it. We are actually also paying for OCR ourselves. So thank you for everyone. Thank you everyone who is contributing to the site, and thanks for tuning in to OCR Talkback. Hopefully next week we'll try to do a talkback from MagFest. It might be fun to do one from MagFest if the hotel internet is good.
We're getting another suite. That means we could do that.
Well, I mean it's MagFest 8.5. I don't think we'll be able to get a suite.
Maybe it's just at the west.
Yeah. But
what's the deal with that 8.5? I don't get it.
Oh, it's it's a MagFest in the style of the older classic MagFests that were smaller in scale. Because when MagFest moved to the Gaylord with MagFest 10 a couple of years ago, the Gaylord Convention Center in National Harbor, the scale of MagFest just completely like blew up. It was just it's a much bigger place, and there's like so many more people that show up, and a lot of people I guess expressed that they kind of miss the feeling of the old MagFest, the more intimate and like scaled down version of MagFest. So the MagFest folks put together MagFest 8.5, which is like it's in the old hotel at the Hilton Mark.
What is it, like limited tickets, and how are they keeping the numbers?
Yeah, it's like there's a cap of like 2,000.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I don't think they even hit that. I think they hit I don't even think they hit 1,000. I don't know what the.
At least not pre-orders. I'm sure there'll be people who buy at the door. But...
Yeah, I don't know what the numbers are, but it's supposed to be like a return to like the smaller, more intimate MagFest. And they're still doing MagFest 13 in January, which is going to be awesome. Which is like the big one that everyone goes to, but 8.5 I think is like is just sort of like a hey, like remember this. So yeah, so we're gonna be out there like Jarrell said, but yeah, so look for us. We're gonna try and do another talkback next week, hopefully from the hotel, from MagFest, and it should be fun.
Cool.
So we'll see. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. You guys, thanks for joining me in Talkback tonight. It way better than like 2 weeks ago when I was soloing for like half an hour.
That's why, interestingly, I just came from work that time too. I was just out of it.
So let's wrap it up. Thanks for watching Talkback. I am Dark Sword, and this is OCR Remix. So good night, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Night.
Nice.
Stop broadcasting.